You're off.
This meeting is being recorded.
There we go. All right, so with that, I'll do a quick introduction of Virginie. She's actually a McCordsville resident, and she founded and continues to operate Betterflye right here in Hancock County, which is awesome. And now we've learned that she's also from France. So Virginie, I'll go ahead and toss it over to you.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here today. So since it's a fairly manageable group, just feel free to interrupt me at any point. If you have questions or anything, don't wait until the end. Just ask it, because most likely other people are asking the same or wondering the same thing. So don't hesitate to interrupt me. A little background before I jump into the presentation. I spent the last 15, 17 years working with nonprofit on volunteer management. I worked for a company called the Registration System, and we manage mainly larger events in the country and even overseas for volunteer management operations. So we did several Super Bowl, Final Four, etc. And as we were, that was kind of a well-oiled machine at that point. My youngest son has a rare disease. I got really involved with that organization, started that organization. I'm on board and then did patient engagement there, and realized that smaller organizations that don't have tons and tons of large budgets and thousands of volunteers were left with not many options to manage their volunteers, recruit them, etc. And then I'm getting close to 40 and existential crisis. And I'm like, am I making a difference? What am I doing with my life? And ask around, and a lot of my friends are wondering the same thing. We work hard, we have busy lives, and we want to help and make a difference, but we don't know where to start. I've obviously dived into the world of rare disease, but wanted to know also what was nearby and what was available, and I found it difficult to find opportunities. And so that's kind of where the idea of Betterflye came along. Is like I wanted to build a platform that would serve organizations of all kinds of size, the smallest to the largest, and then allow individuals to find opportunities, but also be able to track their hours in one place, being able to track their donations in one place, being able to really look at their own impact, and then allowing those two worlds to kind of collide. Because what I found with my many years with working with our organizations and volunteers, it was very siloed. And it was really difficult. Each organization had their own platform. And so when volunteer would sign up with one event, even within our platform, they would sign up for one organization, one event, they would sign up on another one. Their accounts didn't match, didn't have a central place to look at all their opportunities, what they were doing. And so that's really why we started Betterflye. So I'm going to do the share screen now. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is kind of like a quick summary of the platform. The idea was to really create an initiative hub. An initiative, we call initiative volunteer opportunities, fundraisers, events, anything that really involves and will have an impact in the community. We call it an initiative. And we wanted individuals, organizations, and communities to really feed off of the same initiative opportunities. And the idea was to connect and partner with each other, make a difference, and then for every single entity to be able to track their impact, whether it's at the individual level, at the organization level, being able to track, how many volunteers you have, how many hours they're volunteering, your donations, like everything in one place, and at the end of the year get an impact card so that you really see, okay, this is what we've accomplished this year. And then at the community level, that's what the Hancock County Community Foundation is doing, is providing that place where all different partners and organizations are feeding to give a bigger platform, so that it's a central place for people to go to if they need, if they want to volunteer or participate in the community. So our partnership, and I think you've all received that in the letter invitation, but the goal is to really help nonprofit grow a volunteer program so that you can really focus on your mission and expand your mission. We want to connect nonprofit with individual interested in volunteering. So similar to what I was just saying, if someone wants to volunteer, they should be able to find volunteer opportunities. That the first hurdle, it shouldn't be a hurdle to find something, right? They should be presented with lots of options and for them to make that decision. So that's what we're trying to accomplish, so that volunteers know exactly where to go if they have time and want to be a part of the community. Then, so it's a central place to promote all of the volunteer opportunities in the community. So and I'll show you what that looks like after the presentation, but there will be a central page for the Community Foundation to list all of the volunteer opportunities in the community with powerful search features that people can easily find what they're looking for. And then the idea is to increase and engage the younger generation of volunteers. That's what I hear again and again from many of the organizations I've already talked to, is your current volunteer base is aging and aging out, and it's difficult to reach that younger generation. They're busy, or they don't know how to find it, or you have to find different ways to engage with them. It's not the same way. You don't interact with those volunteers the same way you do with your older volunteers. And I'm not saying the goal is to replace it. I'm just saying there's room for both, but you really need to start building that younger generation and bring them in so that you don't have a gap at some point. And then the other goal was to provide a user-friendly volunteer management tool at no cost to you guys. Volunteer management, what I hear a lot of the feedback, many of the organizations I've talked to already are using spreadsheets and paper form, and that's not efficient. Most of the time, the volunteer managers are volunteers, and so we're trying to make their life easier, your life easier, to provide a tool that you can manage everything in one place. And save time on this so that you can focus on other aspects of volunteer management outside of just pure scheduling. And then the other portion of what we're doing too with Betterflye is we have the capability to have a central event calendar. So similar to so right now you have the Hello Hancock. Eventually Betterflye will replace Hello Hancock, because and you'll see how everything is structured, but the idea is that you'll be listing your events on your organization page on Betterflye, and that will feed automatically to the community calendar. So, and Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about that piece?
Yeah, I'll just pop in real quick. Hello Hancock has been around for many years, and probably over the past 5-ish years, it was revamped to a more modernized website that was mobile friendly and all of that. And the main purpose that the Community Foundation invested in that was really to create a website that would serve nonprofits, service clubs, schools, government entities with a tool that would help reduce scheduling conflicts. We heard pretty often that the frustration of, oh, hey, we scheduled our big fundraiser this night, but so-and-so also had theirs that night, and it was just a conflict. People had to make a choice of which one they were going to go to. But now that we're engaging with Betterflye for a volunteer portal, and this site has the capability to host a community calendar, it really made sense to us to consolidate these tools into one area. So that is what we're going to be doing. Obviously, we're not quite ready to launch that yet to the public. So we're wanting to get the volunteer side built up. Then we'll work toward transitioning the calendar to this site as well. Some other context, the Community Foundation is currently working with a marketing firm on rebranding. So they are really going to help us how to figure out how to brand all of our stuff. And that's going to include Hello Hancock. So I'm not sure if that name will stay around. We're not sure. It might. We're just kind of stay tuned on that while we figure those pieces out. But these are some of the things that are going to be coming down the pike.
Yeah, and so the functionality, the core functionality you have in Hello Hancock is going to stay the same. What we are hoping is to save you a couple of steps by not having to submit separately on Hello Hancock. The way, once you set up your organization on Betterflye, you can set up events, volunteer opportunities, fundraisers, all kinds of things in the same platform, so that when people visit your page, they know all the different ways they can engage with your organization. And then your events, since you're affiliated automatically with the community foundation, the events will show up on the community calendar. So you don't have to submit anything. It's the community foundation to just approve what's published. So that's a less work on your side, and then also easier to manage for the community foundation. And then that calendar will be embedded on the community website. So it's not going to be a separate page. Everyone will be able to see it. This is a mock-up that's not live. We're working with the community foundation on branding and how to make it fit within the website. And then we'll have a similar concept for volunteer opportunities, and I'll show that to you in a bit. So there will be a calendar for volunteer opportunities and a list view, because several of you don't publish the shift. Volunteers have to be vetted and accepted before they can schedule themselves. But it will be the option. So if you have anything with open shifts where you don't need to vet volunteers, they'll be able to pick a day and be like, oh, I can volunteer for those organizations today.
Yeah, and Virginia, if I can hop in again real quick. As far as timing with this, I'm anticipating we'll be going live to the public with probably both of these tools late summer, or sometime in the fall, late summer or fall. We've contracted with our current Hello Hancock platform through July of this year. So I anticipate sometime around that time frame is when we'll be transitioning.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you will not, as your organization, not have to wait that long to get it set up on Betterflye. You can start getting it set up tomorrow. It's just that whole consolidated piece where everything is shared on one website, that's what's going to be live later on. But you can certainly start using the platform as soon as you want. All right, so a little bit more in detail of what does the platform offer to you for organizations. The first thing is, if it's allowing you to share your mission, impact goals on an organization page. So each organization has its own page, and it's really the kind of the flyer, right? It's like people are going to be on the community foundation page, or they're going to find you anywhere, and then it's like, what are you doing? What in one page, it's like, what is your mission and how do you accomplish that? And it's I'll show you, it's super easy to set up. So it's a condensed version of your website, but and then you can customize it, change it whenever you want. The idea is to centrally promote all of your initiatives. So like I said, like volunteer opportunities, fundraisers, events, ticket sales. If you need in-kind donations, we can set up those initiatives as well, where you list all the different items that you need. Fundraisers, anything donation is not going to be feeding to the community foundation. To the community foundation, we're sticking with volunteer opportunities and events. And then the idea is to, again, engage in the younger generation. So we have a modern interface, we have social capabilities. So there is each page, whether it's at the community foundation or the organization level, you can decide to turn on or off the social feed, where people can share their pictures, ask questions about specific volunteer opportunities, anything. It's not, again, it's optional. You don't have to turn that on. And if you turn on, we also have a way to accept and vet and look at the messages before they're posted. So this is not a Facebook or Twitter where people can just say whatever they want. This is really tied to your mission and what you're trying to accomplish and their experience with your organization.
Yeah, Virginia, I think we'll probably default to that being off in
At the
in
communicate at
cases.
the community level. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we work together, I show you where to turn it off and then turn it on. And then if you turn it on, we go over the different settings. So at the organization level, it's your call. At the community level, we're going to start with that off, just because that would be it could be a lot to manage and monitor at first for the foundation. And then again, tracking your impact, and we have impact reporting that are being generated at the end of the year that you'll be able to share online with your board, with social media, all of this. And then the capability, we have a strong reporting suite, so you have the ability to track how your supporters are participating with your organization. So you can look at one person and say, that person volunteered X amount of hours, donated X amount of money. So it starts being having a small CRM capability to it. If you have a strong donation platform, if you have a CRM, or if you already have a volunteer management platform, you don't have to switch to this. This is not what we're doing here. It's just to show you that this is an opportunity. That's a tool you can use if you don't have those tools already. If you have them somewhere else, that's fine. You can still create your organization page, and your initiatives will just be linking to your other platform. All right, so now I'm going to do like a little bit more dig deeper on the volunteer management tool and what we can do with it. So first, it's recruiting volunteers. So you can set up each initiative, each volunteer opportunity as its own, within its own page, and allow you to give a little bit more information about the volunteer program, the detail of that opportunity, the expectations from the volunteers, and the benefits for volunteering for your organization. So things to think about right now is your goal is to attract those volunteers, and that younger generation, they don't look at volunteer opportunities the same way that maybe the older generation was doing. And so when they look at different options, they don't have a lot of time, and so they're going to want to go where maybe the cause that what you're doing really matters to them. But there might be other organizations in the community that do similar, that support similar causes. And so where they're going to go is where they feel they're going to have the most impact, where my time is going to make a difference. So it's really important to spell that out. How are you making a difference? And if you have a soup kitchen, for example, you could say, within your shift, you are helping to feed X amount of people. But it's not just that. What else? What is the other additional difference that you're making that is not necessarily obvious? And you guys are the best one to lay that out and explain. And I find that most of the time it's not well laid out, and it's not upfront. It's important to explain to the volunteers, this is what you're doing. And then the expectations, if you have an application process, if you have special skill set that you're looking for, it's really important to lay it out right off the bat. So that they know exactly what they have to do. I was talking to an organization the other day, and their volunteers, they have to go through an application process, an interview, and then once they're done, they have a 30-hour training session. That's commitment. And if it's not completely set up front, you don't want bad surprises for volunteers. And then the other thing too is being clear on what you need for skill set. And how is that going to help the volunteer? I'm seeing, when you look at college students, that can help their resume. And so just spelling that out can definitely help with recruitment and engagement. Pictures, videos, anything that you have, testimonies of your current volunteers, are always amazing. And so you have the capability to add all of that in those recruiting pages. And then it's like you can promote your different volunteer opportunities through the your organization calendar. So you have you have your organization page, and it lists all different initiatives. So, and it could be a calendar for within your organization as well. The community calendar, embedding the link to Betterflye directly on your website. So it's the seamless transition from your website to signing up for volunteer opportunities. And then the different, the way the system is built is definitely to attract the younger generation. You can still add volunteers on the platform on the admin side. That's a question I get all the time. Is like, well, the volunteers that I have right now will never use this. They don't, some of them don't have computers. Some of them still don't have an email address, or they do, but they just don't want to use it. They want to call me. So you can still enter everyone on the back end to so that your reporting is all clean and it's not a burden on your volunteers. In terms of registration and scheduling, so that's the second part of your volunteer management. You have recruiting, then registration and scheduling. This is really the part where we hope to save you a lot of time. We have the application process capability, meaning you laid out kind of the different roles that you have within your organization for volunteers, and they apply for those roles. So you can build custom forms with questions and add waivers, add everything you need on that. And then set up the different admin. You can set up an admin tracker as well on the back end to see where they're at in their process. Did they complete the training? Did they complete the interview? Did they complete background check, etc.? And then once they've done all of this, you can approve the volunteer and set up automatically, once they're approved, that they are getting an invitation to schedule themselves. So I know each of you is managing that part, that portion kind of in different ways. Some of you allow the volunteers to schedule themselves, others don't. Others, there's just no scheduling. It's just kind of whenever there's a need, you need to reach out to your volunteers. So we can work on all those different scenarios. We're built to work on those configurations. And if you don't have an application process, you can have those shifts wide open where people can just sign up and they can still fill out a form if you need them. So those are different options, getting them in. Then in terms of registration, they could do role selection, which is just interest, pretty much. I'm interested in that type of work within your organization. One-time shift. So if you have an event, you can schedule event type volunteers. So it's just a specific day and time, and this is what I'm doing for that day and time. Or recurring shift. So those are, you can set them up for the entire year and let the volunteer sign up for the entire year, or by smaller chunk at a time. And it's real-time capacity management. So when a volunteer signs up, you set the capacity, how many you need for each position and each shift. And as volunteers sign up, those shifts will fill up. So if it's full, we're not going to allow somebody else to sign up. If someone cancels, it will reopen. So all of that is done real time, and you don't have to go back and forth with calls and spreadsheets to manage that scheduling piece of the platform. And you have access to real time reporting on who is signed up for where, who's supposed to show up when, etc. And then you get notifications. So that's up to you if you want notifications on everything, or if it's just you want on a few things. But volunteers get reminders of their upcoming shifts. You get a confirmation, they get a confirmation, and you get notified when someone registers and they get their schedule. And then same thing, cancellation, they get the confirmation that they've canceled their shift, and then you get a notification that someone canceled their shift. That way you can always look at that real time. I know that's if you're not working on the online tool right now, that's a big fear. Is like, well, right now I know exactly when someone is canceling because they're emailing me or they're calling me. And you still have, yes.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you mid-sentence. Are there
No, no, you're fine.
are there notifications by text, or can there be?
Not yet, but there will be. So we will launch. We have an app that will launch soon, and so that will go to their notification will come on their phone, and at that point we'll be able to turn on text notification.
Okay, I just know that I love the ones that I get from my dentist and others. So
Yeah, I do too. So yes, we're looking into that. It's just finding the balance between what's not overwhelming too much everyone, and then it depends on the when they're doing many shifts. Anyway, we're working on this, so yes, it's coming.
Okay, and then that, talking about the younger volunteers too, I know they'll text. So
they'll text, yeah, they don't do much emails, that's true.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see. Okay, so then it's and then the way for scheduling, it's really easy to build shifts on the platform and to make changes if you need to make changes as well. So we have a cloning feature. Once you build a shift, you can just clone and then change the time. So it takes really a few minutes to build, 20 shifts. So that's also saving you time. And then finally, probably in the fall, we'll release an option for group and team registration. So if you partner with companies or schools, we'll be able to have a full flow for them to sign up, again, without having to do a lot of back and forth, and making it easy for them to sign their team up. Before I move on to the next page, are there any other questions on that or concerns? No. All right, I'm going to keep going. So then,
real quickly, is there a limit to how many jobs you can have for a particular event?
Nope, no limit.
Good, because we sponsor some pretty big fundraisers that take a lot of people, so that would be good.
Yeah, no, there's no limit. We do, if you, depending on the size of your events, like if you need, if you go in and start for one event, needs like 2,000 volunteers, we can do it on this platform. It might not be the best. And so we have a partnership and what we call it, we have an integration with the registration TRS, the registration system that is designed to manage large scale volunteers. So everything would flow through this, but you could handle on the other side, especially if there's like more complex rules and things like this. But I can make the recommendation as when we discuss. But yeah, otherwise here there's no limit, and you can post as many roles, shifts, positions as you need. In terms of reporting, you can report by date, time, role and opportunity, by volunteer. So we have a full suite of reporting that should allow you to manage, to know at any time who is supposed to be where and when. We have a tracking hours functionality as well. So if you set shifts on the platform and volunteers are signing up for shifts, you can just check them in. With the app, we will release that QR code where they can, check in, check out with QR codes easily. If you don't do set shifts on the platform, volunteers can still submit their hours really easily on the platform, and then ask you for validation, and then you can validate. And all of this will feed into your overall report for the hours for the year. And again, for communication right now, email notifications and social posts with text coming up. All right. So I know for some of you that might be a big shift. I talked to several organizations already that I would say we're excited, but a little afraid to make a jump from, you know, manual management to this. And the goal is to kind of free up some time away from the day-to-day scheduling, you know, and the pure transactional relationship you have with your volunteers to a more engaged relationship, which is like, you know, rewarding them and telling them how well they're doing, and really starting building a volunteer program that will sustain longer, where you keep your volunteer engaged and happy. And being able to recognize them, reward them, and then reminding them how they're making a difference and how you value them. So that's really the goal of this platform, is to free up that time to focus on those things, and going out recruiting new volunteers and retaining them long term. All right, so now I'm going to jump into the demo before we do this. So before I jump into demo, do we have any questions? No.
I have one.
Yep.
And you may be going to cover it, but what is the volunteer benefit? I mean, what can they see from their side?
So the volunteer benefits is they get, so I'll just, if I have to talk to somebody to sign up for something, that's going to annoy me. I don't have time. I just want to go on there and then look at what's available and just do it online. So on their front, on that side, it's that they can just see what's available, go through the process, and then kind of manage their schedule on their own. There is so when I sign up, I'll just like, this is my account. So everything is linked. When you join the platform, you have your account as a user on Betterflye, and then you'll be an admin to the organization. But when they first join, you have a feed where you see if you have friends, like what your friends are volunteering for, what are they doing. There is, I have my schedule where I can manage my schedule for all my different volunteer opportunities in one place. If I, go to an event, I can manage my tickets. I can buy tickets online here and then just have my tickets here. I can follow my favorite organizations and my favorite communities. I have my contributions here, so I know exactly my total volunteer hours across the different organizations, my donations, and then all the initiative that I've signed up for. So it's a central place for them to manage all of that. And then here they can quickly access their stuff. So I'm going to go to the community. So this page is a work in progress. Like Katie was saying, it's going to go through rebranding. We don't have a name yet for the volunteer program. But this will be the central page that explain kind of where you'll be able to find the different volunteer opportunities. So these are all different opportunities that are being built right now. Nothing is live yet, but it will go live. They'll start going live soon. So you can have a list view and search and have a bunch of search and filters option, or you can do a calendar view. Again, on the calendar view, only the opportunities that are available to the public with a shift will be available. On the list view, you're going to have the application, like here's the application process, for example. And if I click here, it will show, let me see here, there's usually more. So you have the gallery manager. And so I can click on here to be able to, it gives me the name of the organization, the description, and then the different times that it's available. I can go to that page here, learn more about the opportunity. So that's a volunteer opportunity page, and then register. If I want to register for, this is ongoing shift, those are recurring shifts. So if I click here, I can select, so you see here, this one was full. I'm automatically selected for the entire year, but I can say I'm not available here, here, and here. And so the next person that tries to sign up for that shift, the only one they're going to see available are those three, because there's just one available at this point. So that's on the scheduling side of it. So let me go. So I'm in an organization page right here. So I'll go back to the community. I've jumped a little too deep. I'm sorry. That might be confusing, but this is an organization page. So all of you will have your organization page, and then you can design it as you want here, add as much information as you want. And then you will have, again, a social feed. You can turn that off. So if you turn off, that posts tab will disappear. If you have fundraisers, you can list them. Volunteer opportunities, they will show here. You can also have the calendar if you want. And you can either embed this piece on your website for volunteer opportunities, or simply just give them the link that will take them here directly. It's up to you. And then the events. So if you have specific events, you also have an event calendar where you can sell tickets, and you can do all kinds of things on this platform as well. So I'm going back to the community foundation. So this is a community page, again, that lists all the volunteer opportunities from all different organizations that are affiliated with the community foundation automatically. So you don't have to publish that to this. When you affiliate it, it will feed to it automatically. Events, and then same thing on the event. I think there's one in April. There it goes. I mean, right now it's there's not a lot of information, but as organization will add events, this will populate more. And again, you can see what's available and how to sign up for. And then we have the partners page with the organizations that started working on it and started setting it up. And each of those pages you can go and visit. So I'm going to visit this one right now. And they started working on their page, explain what they're doing. And then if you go to volunteer opportunity, right now they have just the application available, because right now there's no scheduling because I'm not approved. But I can look at and see more. And so here I get more information about that specific opportunity. And then I can select what I'm interested in. And then there's a form, and this is a custom form that you guys can build and add whatever you want on there. All right. I'm gonna go back to this one. Do you guys have questions on the platform, on what you've seen so far?
Me again.
Yeah.
I'm curious how it would look for someone who's doing required community service. The organization I volunteer the most with gets a lot of that. We have to track their hours and sign off on those.
Yep. So it's up to you on how do they sign up on their own, or is that something, because I know I've heard different scenario.
They call saying, I need to do some community service. Can I do it there? That's usually the initial conversation.
Okay.
So
yeah. So they will be able. I don't think I have any. I should have added some of the hour tracking piece to show you. But yes, once they're sign up, they can either log their hours right here directly. That will send to the admin to validate. Say yes, they were there at that point. I agree. That's accurate. Or on the reporting side, I don't think I have anything here. Yeah, I don't have anything. So on the reporting side, you'll be able to mark attendance as well for specific shifts. And then you'll be able to get all those hours calculated. Did that answer your question?
She shook her head yes, Virginia. I'm not sure if you could see her.
Oh, okay. No, I can't
Sorry.
see it. Sorry.
I was on mute. Now, Beth, we need to get those judges to accept an electronic report. We can just shoot it right over there.
Yes.
I don't
and
think
they-
that would be a problem, Carol.
they can get a copy, you can, when they can copy, so they can copy you and somebody else on that when they if they're logging their hours themselves, or like you say, you can just grab a snapshot of all their hours and then submit that as well. So here, just want to show you the user approval process. So I signed up a test, so I filled out the application form here so I can see, I didn't do a good job. I skipped a lot of stuff because this was for testing. And then the admin form, this is, you can just do whatever you want here. Those are the questions that you use to help yourself track everything. For the volunteers, add notes, etc. So you can always have that and then report on that as well. And then you can decide what you do with a volunteer. If I'm approved, I'm automatically going to get an invitation to this this initiative, this one. That is the one where I schedule. So that one is hidden from the public. I get the link and I can only access it when I'm approved. And at that point, that's where I go and select my shifts. So that's the application process. Right, I think they've shown the biggest chunk of the platform. So I'll stop sharing and then we'll go into questions.
And Virginia, one thing I might point out just before we get into questions is that this site is obviously very comprehensive and offers a lot that you can use for your volunteer program, and that's great. And if that's something you're looking for, we hope you take advantage of that. We have a great resource in Virginia to really help you get that set up and answer all your questions and make sure you're ready to go. However, if you really just want to use this platform as a way to recruit volunteers and that's it, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
That was kind of our impetus for getting this set up, is really just that connection piece. And we're so happy that it offers so much more than that, if that fits into what you're looking to do. But if it doesn't at this time, maybe just the timing isn't right. It really can be as simple as the connection piece and the event piece.
Yeah.
I had a question. As a volunteer, say I volunteer at 3 different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I have one Betterflye account.
Yep.
Tied to 3 organizations.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you have your central calendar where you can see all of your shifts in one place. Yep.
Okay.
So I guess I have a question on the donation and that kind of stuff, and doing ticketing and things like that. How is that incorporated? Is that through PayPal or what platform? And how does that work?
Yeah, so we use Stripe. So if you have a Stripe account already, once you set up your organization, you enter, your EIN for donation. Your EIN and we verify you as a nonprofit so that we generate a donation receipt to the platform when they donate. So that's through Stripe. So we don't collect any fee. It's just a Stripe credit card fees that they charge. And if you don't have a Stripe account, it's really quick to set it up. And it's very similar to PayPal. So that's for donations. For ticket sales, it's the same. It goes through Stripes, and when they buy tickets, they get QR codes, and they get their receipts, and then they get QR codes with the tickets.
And then is that then is that linked to social media or how, because with like, for example, like
Yeah.
Eventbrite, that there is an integration to Facebook that you can create the Facebook event through that. Is there any integration with this?
So you wouldn't create an event on Facebook, but you can share it. Any initiative can be shared on social. So you always, on all the pages, you have those toggles right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can share through Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, all of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And what I would do, the same, similar to what we were discussing on the volunteer platform, is if we would look at what you're doing on Eventbrite, and I'll be very honest, like it's a very basic ticketing platform that we're offering. It's not what we do. It's not our core. It allows you to sell tickets. If you need more complex logic, it's probably better to stay on Eventbrite. But I know if you're selling tickets, I know Eventbrite will charge for that. So we can go over what your needs are and see if Betterflye is a good fit or if it's better to stay on Eventbrite.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a good example, Deborah, and I know Virginia's going to go over the next steps here, but this webinar, it's not just okay, here you go, now go forth and prosper. The next step is going to be, if you're interested in moving forward, we hope you are, is to work one-on-one with Virginia to get your organization's profile.
So just mute.
Yeah.
You froze for a minute.
Oh, I'm getting that your internet connection is unstable message. That's always fun. But
At least it's your internet, not you, right?
Right.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Or I could just be saying that now.
Virginia, can you
go ahead, Paul.
post? Can you post or send us your presentation so that we could talk to like our board of directors about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll share the presentation. We can email that. We can email it to you. And like I said, the next step is in that email. We'll give you the next steps. You can create an account and you can start playing with the platform. There's nothing you can break on there, and if you mess it up, we'll fix it. It's really easy.
Oh, you've never seen me on a computer.
I take the challenge. But and then we have a full academy. So let me do another share screen. I'm sorry, I should have just kept sharing my screen. I don't know why. I don't see your faces when I share the screen, so that's why I keep going back to that. So yeah, the next step is to go to betterflye.me, create an account, and then create an organization. And then we have the Betterflye Academy that has all of the different help desk article. And then you can find it here under Learn. We have a specific link for it as well. So everything is how to create an organization, the admin dashboard, basic settings, all of it. So it's all how to create volunteer initiatives. And then if you look at it's all really short videos. You're going to be tired of my voice because I'm the one talking on those videos. So I'll try to find a better narrator at some point. But that's kind of the next step. And then you can grab any time, some time on my calendar, and we can go over your needs together. This is the part that I love doing, is learning more about your organization and your struggles and what you're doing great and what you're struggling with, and then seeing if it's how we can help solve all those problems with Betterflye. And I'm always very honest. If I think Betterflye is not the solution, I will tell you. I do not want to waste your time. Like I say, I work also in nonprofit, and we do not have time to to waste on tools that are not going to be useful for the organization. So I don't want to get you down that rabbit hole and then for no reason. So this is not what we're doing, but I'll try to make recommendation, and then see how we can, and then we'll look at the volunteer management piece, and if you need fundraisers and ticket sales and all of that, we can look at that as well and how to present it.
And then
Now
the next step.
I would say you were responsible for the content, which is the hard part. So I can only make general recommendations of how to present your organization and how to present your volunteer opportunities. I usually have some ideas like how to make it stand up, but I'm not a writer and I'm not a content provider. So this will be on you guys to find that, because I've been asked a few times, like, can you do that for us? I was like, you don't want me to write your stuff. I'm terrible. I'm French. Like, I don't, English is not my first language. So, yeah.
And then I was just going to say, this is kind of the first phase of this, is we really want to work with all of you to get this website loaded with robust volunteer opportunities. And then, the Community Foundation plans to really make get this out into the public. I envision us talking with businesses, churches, service groups, to really get people to this site to actually sign up and get that activity piece. So we really want to push this and make it a very decentral location where people know they can go to find volunteer opportunities, because I'm amazed, and Shelley and Carol know this too, the number of calls that we take here at the Community Foundation just for people who are like, hey, I'm interested in volunteering, and I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. And I get these calls and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so close to having a resource.
Almost. Yeah.
But I know that this is something that I think people want and could really benefit from, and you guys can as well.
And I want to jump in there and add, I got a call yesterday from a nonprofit who has volunteer opportunities, but does not, because of the nature of their nonprofit, accept adults looking for community service hours. And he said, please tell me where I can send these people, because we get these questions daily. Who is taking volunteers? I mean, so I think that is important. The two main, we have people that are doing community service hours for the court, and then we also have teenagers who are doing community service hours as a requirement to a organization, or for better scholarship opportunities or whatever. So I think it's important to our community to show them here's where you can be involved, and hopefully some of those teenagers we grab onto and keep them coming back to our mission and not leaving the county.
Yep.
Okay. Any final questions? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much. Oh, Carol.
I was going to say, in answer to the question about sharing this presentation with others, we also have another opportunity for this session happening tomorrow afternoon live. So I don't see there's any reason why we couldn't add somebody at this point. If you had somebody who'd really like to see it, that has a little time tomorrow afternoon. So just thought I'd
and you'll share the recording as well, right, Katie?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we will. Yep. So tomorrow's session is going to be pretty much the same as this one, so there's no need to attend both. But yeah, if there's somebody that you have in your organization that would be interested in seeing it, we'll be in person tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Greenfield branch of the public library. Great. So our next steps is probably, I'm guessing I will probably follow up with an email with some of the things Virginia mentioned, with just some next steps and making sure you have a direct connection to Virginia, so that you can get started on this. And I anticipate down the road, we may be doing some other things. I know Virginia mentioned maybe doing some like periodic webinars on volunteer management, and
Yep.
maybe even having an in-person kind of come and go session to help get profiles set up. So more to come on that. But I just appreciate all your time and your guys' interest in this product, and hopefully we can really regenerate kind of the spirit of volunteerism in the community, and make these connections now that we're all back in the blue from COVID. So thank you so much. And thank you, Virginia, for this presentation. Everybody have a good rest of the day, and we'll be in touch via email.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Carol.
Are you still recording? I think you can turn it off.